All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I want to give that honors to my apostles and elders, great millstone, who teach very well, wanted this truth from, and salutation out there to the hopeful elect, who continue to push this word in our truth, faith, and sincerity. And also, Shalom to all the men, women, and children who sincerely believe upon the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Today, man, just basically getting on us watching during the night because we already know that joy cometh in the morning is going to be all over in the morning, and that's the return of Yahweh Shai. But before Yahweh Shai return, we have to go through these different night watches, man. What it says, the first watch, midnight, when a cock crow. We never know when the return of Yahweh Shai is going to be, so we have to be on point, basically watching and looking ahead for the Lord, man. Because even once you go into the word watchman in Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter, the word watchman actually goes back into what? Somebody who peers into the distance. And a part of us peering into the distance is peering into the distance or peering into the future, looking forward towards our Lord Yahweh Shai to come upon the planet Earth. But he's not going to come upon the planet Earth in the nighttime. No, prophecy must be fulfilled. One of those major prophecies is that MOTB being mandated throughout the whole planet Earth, So let's go ahead and get this real quick. This is the book of St. Matthew 24 and 42. Wherefore, watch, therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, if the good man of the house would have known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would have not suffered his house to be broken up. Yes, because 9 times out of 10, the thief is not going to come in the middle of the day. No, the thief is going to come at night. And that's why it says in verse 44, therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. Yes, because Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, he's going to come as a thief in the night, basically coming when people are unprepared. They're in the midst of the sleep. Matter of fact, let me get some real quick. Because 9 times out of 10, at night, people be asleep. And spiritually, in this lifetime, there's a lot of people who are asleep, man. Not being aware or not even basically considering the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai. You don't even want to go into the light. You don't even want to go into the ways of the Lord. You want to continue to lay down in the midst of darkness. And that's how it is 9 times out of 10 when you wake somebody up in the middle of the night. They cuss you out. They scoff at you. They might throw something at you. It might get violent. Especially if he's taking alcohol. If you drunk with alcohol, it might get violent if you wake somebody up in the middle of the night, man. But that's why we let the 2/3 just go to sleep in the midst of the night, man. Let's go ahead and get this. This is the book of Psalm 13 and 33. Consider and hear me, O Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, my power, lighten my eyes. And it's beautiful, man. And because of the midst of gross darkness, the Lord have enlightened us by giving us the truth. This is one of the reasons why we up in the middle of the night. We got the lights on in the house, man. Let's get this in St. Matthew 4 and verse 16. The people which sat in darkness, yes, because we was once asleep. We was once caught in the night. But guess what? It says the people which sat in darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region in the shadow of death, which is America, light is sprung up. And how is light sprung up in America? The prophets are out there on the highways and byways preaching, man. So let's go ahead and go back into this Psalms 3 and verse 13 and verse 3, because it says, consider and hear me, O Lord Yahweh Shai, my power, lighten my eyes, give me this understanding, lest I sleep the sleep of death, because without this understanding, you will be in the congregation of the dead. And that's why even when you go into the funeral, people say, yeah, he's just, he went away peaceful. It looked like she was just sleeping. It's the same thing in the spirit. These people are spiritually asleep and unaware of the surroundings that's going upon them, even the people who claim to be Israelites. Because you have to be asleep in order to believe that sleeping with a white woman is talking about the mark of the beast, man. You have to be sick and sleep thinking that sin is the mark of the beast, man. And even for these other people who are even more bugged out, you have to be extra knocked out and on alcohol if you think all nations can be saved, man. It's levels of sleep. Some people are light sleepers, some people are deep sleepers, man. But the Lord is going to wake up the elect here in these latter days. Matter of fact, let's get some. It's the book of Romans. There's Romans 13 and 11, Romans 11, 13. Brothers know where I'm going, man. Some people are heavy sleepers, They was always in the world living it up. Some brothers was light sleepers. You was looking for Yahweh Shemini Shah, but you didn't know where he was at. But at the same time, Yahweh Shemini Shah will wake up the elect. This is the book of Romans 13 and verse 11. And knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Going back into that St. Matthew, the 24th chapter, you do not watch when the Lord come. We don't have no clue for the daylight hour, the second, but we have context clues, man. That's why even the scripture says, measure the time diligently. On the internet on the scene, this guy putting satellites, digital payment, scanning, biometrics, showing you where we're at here in biblical, at the biblical timeline. And at the biblical timeline, we are at the end. Another sign to show you that we are at the end. The missiles is on the scene, man. Let's go ahead and continue on. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. And again, Babylon is really behind us. It's not like we can go back into 1776. 1862, 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. No, Esau Kingdom have already ran its course damn near, man. And it says the day is at hand, and that day is the representation of the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, the ways of the world, and let us put on the armor of light, which is who Yahweh Shai. And these scriptures in these wills of knowledge and understanding, not just quoting it, but living it, man. It's easy just to memorize things, but it's harder. It's easier to walk, to talk, but it's harder to walk the walk, man. And that's what we're doing spiritually, man, to the best of our ability, man. That's why it says, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof, because the flesh and the lust thereof that it's talking about right here, it actually keeps you in the world, man. And a lot of times once you please the flesh, the first thing you're gonna do is go to sleep. You pop a woman, you want to go to sleep. You eat, you lay down, you want to go to sleep, man. You've been at work all day, you want to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But these scriptures is what keep us up in the middle of the night. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get this in the book of Psalms 119, and I'm gonna start at verse 47, but this is in the NIV. It says, I rise before dawn and cry for help. Now, dawn is the morning. So if you're rising before dawn, that's in the middle of the night. They call it 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You up here crying for the Lord, man. That's what we're doing spiritually. It says, I have put my hope in your word. My eyes stay open through the watches of the night. Yes, because we know that the words of Yahweh Shemini Shai is faithful and true. And we don't want to miss those miracles. Because it's a saying that you better keep your eyes on it. Because as soon as you turn your head, you're going to miss a lot. It says that I may meditate on your promises, hear my voice accordance with your love, preserve my life, Lord, according to your laws. And again, that's why we're standing up in the middle of the night, because we're meditating on the promise of the Lord. And what's a part of the promises of the Lord? You flip your talents, you're going to get a reward, man. You stay being enduring to the end, you're going to get salvation, man. You know, you be faithful unto death, you wouldn't get a crown of life. It's stipulations into this, man. But we gotta hold up our end of the bargain, man. You know? Let's go ahead and get this real quick. This is the book of Psalms 135. It's like this Psalms 130 in verse 5. It says, I wait for the Lord, my soul doth wait, in his word do I hope. Yes. Like your father, yeah, we going fishing in the morning. You hype it in the mug, man. It says, my soul waiteth for the Lord more than they that watch for the morning. And that's 72, because even the watchers, when you go into the ancient work, the men that peer out to the distance, one thing they was looking forward towards is when the sun come up. Why? Because once the sun come up, your shift is over with. Now you can truly get some rest. You've been up all night. You've been on, not paranoid, but you've been on point. You've been on edge all night, for the lack of better words. You know? So once you see that sun creeping up, then there's a sense of excitement. It says, let Israel hope in the Lord Yahweh Shai. For with the Lord there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption. Let's get that word redeemed, man. And that's one reason why we stand up in the middle of the night, because we want to be redeemed. Redemption, the action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. You know? And that's what Yahweh Shai doing. He's saving us from sin, error, evil. He's saving us from darkness. And that's why we got to stay up in the middle of the night. Because if you don't, darkness will creep in on you, man. You know? With vindication, you know, he's going to vindicate us, the action of clearing someone of blame or suspicion, proof that someone or something is right, is reasonable, or justified. And what's going to make us justify here in these latter times, especially in the midst of the time of Jacob's trouble, is us having this truth, man. Because this truth actually justifies our complaint. This truth actually justifies our crying out unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. You know? So let's go ahead and end off on this. Because again, we're watching in the midst of the night. Yep, this is the book of this is the book of Psalms 65. Hold on. No, that ain't it. This good. This is a good one though, right here in Psalms 90. Satisfy us in the morning with their unfailing love. That's the Yahweh Shai coming, man. You know, that we may sing for joy and be glad all of our days. Let me see. Joy coming in the morning. That's a good one though, man. Satisfy us in the morning, because we're not going to be satisfied in the flesh in this society. You're not going to be. It's always going to be some here. Even if you got $1 million, man, you can have $1 trillion. It's always going to be some. Your health, your mind, your bills, your woman acting like a demon, your car acting like a demon, your tools at work acting like a demon. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord is keeping us uncomfortable here. So when we do get comfortable in the kingdom, it's going to be so much more worth it, man. You know? Let's go ahead and end off right here. I think it's 34. 35? Yeah, 30 and 5. Yeah. This is the book of Psalms 30 and verse 5, a comforting proverb. It says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And yes, man, that's why we're watching in the night, because we're watching for our joy, man. We're watching for a peace of mind. We're watching for our Lord Yahweh Shai to come down upon the planet Earth and deliver us from wickedness, man. So yeah, Akim, I pray this video was edifying and give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, and give double honors to my apostle and others, great millstone, and Shalom.